Hey everybody, today we're going to take an updated look at the 2024 Democratic primary. I last took a look at this in February, so we've had a few months of plot development, had some new candidates enter the race. So I've got this article pulled up here from The Nation. This is obviously going to be pro-Biden, but it talks about how Biden really has to make some adjustments heading into this primary. So I can scroll down through this. The link will be below in the description, but this talks about Biden's approval rating. It's barely over 41% in the aggregate on Real Clear Politics. And some head-to-head polls between Biden and Trump do show Biden trailing. So I don't think anybody expects Biden to not really be the nominee at this point, but there is very little enthusiasm for the incumbent president. I think we've all seen tons of polls by now that show most voters don't want Biden, they don't want Trump, they don't want either of these guys, but as it pertains to the Democrats, less voters want to see Biden run again than they do Trump. But I think when the time comes, most disaffected Democrats that are on the fence, they're going to come home to Biden, especially if it's against Trump. They don't want to take any chances if Donald Trump could possibly win the election. And that is what this article goes on to talk about. If Democrats don't control Congress, but Biden does win the White House, there's going to be all sorts of compromises that are going to be unsatisfying if you're somebody on the left. But even getting to that point with Biden winning, that's the uphill climb. Would another Democrat be stronger? Well, we're going to take a look at that in a second, but we all remember how the DNC has essentially moved the first primary from New Hampshire to South Carolina. If that actually holds, then we got to see what happens in New Hampshire. If New Hampshire does go first, does Biden campaign there? Does he risk not coming in first? There's some different scenarios with that, but once he gets to South Carolina, I think it's going to be like it was in 2020. He'll easily win the state, and then that's supposed to propel him in the subsequent primaries, and then to win the nomination. So with so much lack of enthusiasm for Biden, can anybody step in to stop him? Well, let's switch over to Wikipedia. Here's the other declared candidates. We all know Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Marianne Williamson. Now, there's always time for another Democrat to enter this race. If we go down here to take a look at anybody of note, Joe Manchin has a decision pending. It's hard to imagine Manchin actually getting in and running for president. He's already having a tough time at his re-election bid in West Virginia. He's already in his mid-70s himself. I don't think there's much of a lane for Manchin to run in. I think it's more so between Biden and somebody more progressive, somebody more anti-establishment, and that would be Kennedy or Williamson. Essentially, Biden has already cleared the field. Here's the huge list of candidates that have declined to run. Of course, somebody could always change their mind if things really turn sour for Biden, but as of right now, it's mostly expected that there's not going to be any serious push to oust the incumbent president, even if there's a lot of concerns with Biden's age, the economy, his popularity. Nobody really wants to take a swipe at the party leader, given that he already won in 2020, and he didn't do too badly in the midterms. Pretty much you got to keep doing what works until it doesn't. And if that means more Biden, then that means more Biden. Now down here we have the debate section. And as we heard, the DNC is not planning to host any primary debates. Now I think that's very unfortunate, especially because there's two candidates already in the race that are not polling at nothing. And the Democrats are big on touting democracy. But in this situation, it's going to be completely self-serving, and most of the media does already seem to be behind Biden. Sometimes you don't even see Williamson or Kennedy mentioned. Other times when you do see them mentioned, you hear them mentioned as not serious candidates, no major challengers, or you might hear that they're fringe or controversial, just the typical ways to minimize or smear any competition. But I think a robust debate would be helpful. I get it, he's the incumbent president, the party does not want to rock the boat, but if you're big on democracy, and if you're already such a strong candidate, then just get out there and do at least one debate. Show the people you've still got it, and contrast yourself with your opposition. In the end, I think that would be a net benefit. So down here we've got some endorsements. Biden has his own section. He's got a ton of them. Kennedy looks like he has the Dennis Kucinich endorsement, and there's a few more on here. Marianne Williamson, her endorsements are more from the progressive side, and that takes us down to the polling. Right now in the aggregate, on Real Clear Politics, Biden is at about 59%. Kennedy is close to 17, Williamson is close to 7, 17% undecided. That's a 42.5% lead for Biden. Now if we look at the individual polls, Biden is in the 60s in most of the recent polls. Kennedy is in double digits, close to 20, and Williamson is in mid to high single digits. But you can see over the last few months, since Kennedy and Williamson got into the race, Biden's support has decreased a little bit. It's still overwhelming, but it's not as overwhelming as it was earlier in the year. And of course, you could click on each of these individual polls if you want to take a look at the crosstabs or see how they conducted these poll questions. So this is where things stand right now. It's going to be Biden. There's no way around it. Could something change in 3 or 4 months? Yeah, it's possible, but that's going to be very unlikely. It all depends if a scandal develops for Biden, if people are still totally dissatisfied with the economy, and if there can be a groundswell of support for someone like Kennedy or Williamson, enough to maybe put some pressure on the DNC or some other outlets to sponsor and conduct a debate. Now, even if there were several debates with all these candidates, Biden would still likely come out on top. I don't think he would win by 40 or 50 points then. Maybe he would only win by 20. But then I think people would feel much better about their vote. Biden is going to say he's done so much. He's got more to do. That's what everybody says every time they're going for another term. But I think there's plenty of criticisms to levy at Biden, especially from his left. I know they're dissatisfied with Biden. It is a little surprising to me that there was not a serious mainstream progressive challenge to Biden. I know Williamson is in there, but what happened to Bernie Sanders? What happened to some of these younger progressives? All these candidates are over 70. It's easy to paint a picture of being amazed that Biden is the go-to guy again for the Democrats. Everybody could point to a couple things they like, but you'd also think there'd be a lot of things people point to Biden that they don't really like, that there's no excitement, and that they want to try a new up-and-coming voice from the Democratic bench and not run the same guy who's been in politics for 6 decades. But that's where we're at right now. We'll see if anything changes. But let's do one more thing. Let's switch over to Predicted. Let's see where people are putting their money. Right now, Biden, he's in the 70s, 74 cents. Second place is Gavin Newsom, 13 cents. Harris is at 7, and then down from there. I guess people think there's a chance Gavin Newsom is the backup if maybe Biden has a serious health issue, if there's a serious scandal, or the economy completely tanks out, then maybe Newsom, he's the younger guy who's capable of winning a national election. That's what I think people are thinking here with this market, but it's probably not going to get to that anyway. Right now, Biden, he's the guy. There's really no other way to put it. Looks like Buttigieg even fell off. Hillary Clinton is on here at 3 cents. But that's about it for a look at this Democratic primary. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts about Biden, the other candidates, or this primary? What do you think about the lack of debates? Is there any chance it's not going to be Biden? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.